here. Ma'am, thank you for your rendition of God Bless America. Bob Hall, okay, he's my senator, so I'm proud of my senator. You may go now. You know, Senator Hall talked about something that's so very important for us as Republicans. If you can show me a military battle that was won on defense, I'll take you out and I'll buy you the biggest steak dinner you've ever won. Nobody wins a battle on defense. You may stop the enemy, you may thwart his attack, but if you're going to win a battle, you got to go on offense. It has been too long that we as Republicans have been bringing a plastic spoon to a gunfight. That stops now. They sing a song here called The Eyes of Texas. But it's not about the eyes of Texas. It's about the eyes of America. The eyes of America are on us and what we do here in the great state of Texas. And if we fail in the great state of Texas, then the longest running constitutional republic, the greatest gift that God has given this world, that place that Abraham Lincoln called the last great hope for mankind, these United States of America, will be lost for future generations. Now is your time. And not too often in life do you have that opportunity to be able to say that I made a difference. You can say in this election cycle that truly you made a difference. There is no doubt about who we are facing. We are facing an enemy, an opposition, a political philosophy, an ideology that is the antithesis of who we are. What our founding fathers intended us to be. That's right. What God intended this great nation to be. And all we have to do, all I'm asking you to do, is to find your courage. If you can see me going out and speaking and being fearless and challenging the other side, all I ask you to do is to ruck up. All I ask you to do is lock shields with me. All I ask you to do is to create that impenetrable front that says we will not surrender, we will not retreat, we will not give up this incredible state that we have. And this is how you have to do it. You got to get outside your comfort zone. It's very easy for us to sit around and talk in our little circles and share with our friends and agrees with us in our echo chambers. But you got to do like Eugene and Troy have been doing. Taking the fight to them where they think they're strongest. You know, this past weekend I had the opportunity, my first trip as chairman was down to Hidalgo and Cameron counties, down in the Rio Grande Valley. Why? Because I want to go everywhere. When I look at the map of Texas, I see blue, that's where I'm going to attack. Because too often we have candidates in these blue areas and we have said, they can't win, there's nothing we can do, and we just leave them out there. We will not leave any candidate on this battlefield. We're going to find them, we're going to support them, we're going to get our answer. If they have the courage to stand up, we should have the courage to stand up with them and support them. That's the mission. And it's so important. I don't know how many people here saw your chairman's message point. Not too many people went to the, see? Every week I promised you that I would send out a message point to get all of us as Republicans in the state of Texas on the same sheet of music. I put out that message point today. It was on the Republican Party of Texas Facebook and also on the website, and it was also on my personal Facebook page. If there's one thing that I do kind of admire about the other side, they will always come out and say the exact same thing at the exact same time on every news media, whatever you have. But yet, when you look at us, we're out there like a shotgun. We're all over the place instead of being a laser-guided munition. It's time for us to be a laser-guided munition. When you leave here, go and find the chairman's message point for this week. Because that's how we defeat the other side, by being unified in our message. That's right. We can't continue to go out there and fight as individual clans. We can't continue to go out there and protect our own little rice bowls. There's only one rice bowl to protect, and that's the rice bowl called the great state of Texas. Yesterday was Sunday, Pastor. There are a whole lot of people up in churches on Sunday. Church and the message from the Bible is all about the servant principles. Salvation is not a collective thing. I can't pray you into heaven. You have to do it yourself. And we're all sinners saved by the grace of God. We all have our faults, our shortcomings, but we all have to accept that individual responsibility. But somehow, Monday through Saturday, people forget that message. Monday through Saturday, people look for the collective. Monday through Saturday, people are no longer being victors in Christ, they become victims. We've got to turn that around. We've got to stop that. One of the things I want you to understand is this. In 2016, 25 million Christians did not vote. 25 million Christians. And if you pay attention to what just happened last week with the Supreme Court decision in Las Vegas, think about it. Your very first right, your very first liberty in your Bill of Rights in the United States Constitution is the freedom of religion and the free exercise thereof. And a church in Las Vegas took the case to the Supreme Court. Because the government out in Las Vegas said, if you're in a casino, you can have a 50% occupancy rate. But if you're in a church, you can't have more than 50 people. And the church said that's not fair. That's not equal protection under the law. That's a violation of the 14th Amendment, violation of our very First Amendment right. And our Supreme Court of the United States of America ruled against the church.
Justice Roberts.
Justice Roberts.
That's why it is so important for us to have the right person in the White House, to appoint the right type of Supreme Court justices, to appoint the right type of judges all the way from the Supreme Court down to our circuit court, down to our appellate courts here. That's what we have to do, because the left understands one thing. What they cannot push forward in their agenda by the legislative process, they would use the courts to do it. The left does not believe in the three branches of government. They believe in the three branches of rule. The three branches of rule: the media, academia, and the courts. And if you think about what's going on right here in the great state of Texas, look who controls our major media outlets. Look who controls our major population centers. Look who is controlling our academic institutions. Look who is starting to control our courts. We've got 3 Supreme Court justices up for re-election in this election cycle. That's why it's so important that when you go in to vote, you've got to have a slate. That's one of the things we're going to do. We're going to have a complete slate all across every county, all 254, that allows you to understand from, where'd she go? She skipped out? She didn't want to see me listen? Okay. Oh, you have. But from, what did you say, from the White House?
To the courthouse.
To the courthouse. But it's not just from the White House to the courthouse. We got to start thinking about school board. We got to start thinking about city council. We got to start thinking about all of those things. We got to start thinking about water management districts. All the way down the ticket. There is no straight card ticket voting for the first time in Texas this year. So you can't just walk in and pop a box and say, hit all the Republicans. You got to be a thinking person. You got to go in there and go down that entire ballot. And that's what I need you to do. She talked about it. You got to be informed. But Pastor Groden also talks about after you're informed, you got to be educated. And then you can be activated. Too often we go out on this ideological battlefield and we're not prepared. We got all the enthusiasm, but we're not equipped. We're not trained. We're not armored up. What does it say, Pastor? In Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10 through 18, we don't have full armor of God on. If you're a trooper and you go out to a firefight and you don't have your helmet, your flak vest, you don't have any ammunition, you're going to get hurt. That's what is happening to each and every one of us. So I want you all to have a battle buddy. Every one of you needs to have your battle buddy. And your battle buddy, like it says in the Bible, iron sharpens iron. You guys got to talk about these issues. You guys got to be sharp. Then I want you to come together and form up your own little squad. Because I want you to, even more so, be informed, educated, and then be activated. And then I want you to be able to go out there and not just talk in your own echo chamber. Find 5 people that don't think and believe as you do. 5. And get 3. Now why do I say 3 out of 5? Because last time I checked, not common core math, 3 out of 5 is 60%. 60% in any political race is called a landslide. I believe that 60% of people here in the great state of Texas, they want the rule of law and not the rule of the mob. And that's what we're going to talk about. Nobody wants to feel unsafe. Nobody wants to feel insecure. We're going to draw a clear delineation between who we are and what the progressive socialist left represents. Texas. Y'all hear Joe Rogan? Y'all know about Joe Rogan? Joe Rogan's leaving California. Joe Rogan's moving to Texas. He said either Dallas or Austin. But the important thing that we need to start telling people, and this is why we're going to have a billboard campaign. Welcome to Texas. Now, why are you here? But I want all of us to ask that question. Because all of us know someone that has recently, within the last year, maybe 2 years, moved here to Texas. Ask them why did they leave. Why did you leave a state like California? Why did you leave a state like Illinois? Why did you leave a state like New Jersey and New York? Because of the failed economic policies. Pastor, I remember when God was bringing down, fire and brimstone on Sodom and Gomorrah, he told Lot and his family one thing. Don't look back. Let's start telling people don't look back. If you wanted to keep San Francisco, you could have stayed in San Francisco. You don't have to come to the great state of Texas and turn our capital city into San Francisco. Where if you get off the interstate down there, you see all of the homeless tent camps. You can't even walk in downtown Austin at night. As a matter of fact, y'all saw what just happened this past weekend. That's in our capital city. Run by the far progressive socialist left. In our capital city of Austin, Texas, there's an organization called the Red Guard Austin, running around spray painting red hammers and sickles all over our capital city of Texas. This is how bad it's gotten. We kind of got a little complacent in many of our very successful red states. And now they have come and said that we're here to try to take it away from them. You can't allow that to happen on your watch. You have to be dedicated to not allow that to happen on your watch. My mission is to be that person that provides you the message. My mission is to make sure that I'm running out there and ensure that our candidates have the support. I'm not going to be hanging out at the headquarters down in Austin. There'll be times when I have to go down there for meetings, but I'm going to be on the road. Tomorrow night I hit the road and I go out to Little Odessa. Then I'm going to go out to El Paso. Then I'm going to go over to Amarillo. Because why? We got to show the flag. We got to plant the flag. We've got to inspire you all to be out there on this battlefield and fight. Because that's what this is all about. Texas is going to pick up 2 more congressional districts in the redistricting because of the incredible influx of population here. Who gets to draw the lines for those districts? We are 9 seats away from the progressive socialist left winning the Texas State House. What area are they targeting? They're targeting North Texas. I said no. Michael Bloomberg is dumping $8 to $10 million through Everytown for gun safety and Moms Demand Action. Michael Bloomberg only spent $2 to $3 million in Virginia and flipped the Virginia State House and the Virginia State Senate. He's going to try to do that here. Now, why would we allow someone to come into the great state of Texas and talk about taking away our Second Amendment right, which means that we have the right to defend ourselves? We will not allow Texas to ever be like what we saw happen in St. Louis.